Hello you all, what's up? My name is Elizabeth and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 tips on how to survive online classes. So many of y'all may or may not know that I have been doing online classes for one full year in college, and so I want to share some of my tips on how I survive online classes. So let's get started. So number one is checking in. What I mean by that is checking your emails, checking any other sources that are a way for you and the professor or the teacher to have that communication between you and the teacher or professor, and logging into your online platforms. Many platforms they will upload their assignments to those platforms so you can see it. Don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until Wednesday thinking I can do all my work on Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I have until all that. Don't wait until the middle of the week. For me personally, every Monday I log in. Actually, I would say every day I log in to my platform that I use, and almost every day I look over my syllabus just to make sure that I'm on check. And that's what we're going to be talking about, checking your work and making sure that you have everything done. But the beginning of that is making sure that you have checked your emails and you have logged into your platform that you are using for education to make sure that you and your professor or teacher has that link of communication, whether it's the handout that's going to be uploaded, the lecture that's going to be uploaded. It's just a really good way to, number one, cement what assignments that you have and to cement the communication that you have between your professor and yourself. Number two is to treat your online classes as in-person classes. What I mean by that is you need to set a certain time to log in to do that work in that specific class. Just like you will go to a building to sit down and listen to the professor's lectures, you need to do that for yourself. You need to set aside to sit down in your area, whatever that may be, and open up your computer or the book and start reading. You need to set aside that time, just like you need to set aside time to go to the school building to hear the lecture. You need to do that on your own. That's what I mean by treating your online classes as in-person classes. You need to set a certain time and a certain deadline, just like an in-person class. Because if you don't, you're going to realize time has went by and you have not gotten the work done that you need to. You have not listened to the lecture that your professor has uploaded. You have not read the things that you need to read for your classes. You need to structure time in your day for that, and you need to stick to it. Number three, quality over quantity. I know for me it's very tempting to want to try to push through and say, okay, push through 30 more minutes of studying. When in reality, my ability to study any longer is not going to happen. All that's going to happen is everything that I'm going to read from here on is going to just be ma. I'm not going to retain it into my brain. So sometimes I have to tell myself, okay, so technically my study time isn't over, but this concept is really hard to grasp. I think I need to step away, 5 to 10 minutes break, and I can come back with a refreshed mind. So maybe that doesn't mean you study for 2 hours straight. Maybe it means you're only studying 30 minutes and taking 10-minute breaks within that. Maybe that's what you can do. But that's better than trying to push through. That's better than trying to say that I'm going to force myself to sit here even though I'm not retaining what I am reading. So that's what I mean by quality over quantity. It can be tempting sometimes, especially for me when I hear about other college students and how long they're studying or how late they're studying, and here I am not doing that. But at the end of the day, it's not about comparing your study time to their study time. What's more important is, are you retaining the information? Is this study period working for you? Are you getting rid of the distractions? Are you able to retain the information? That's why quality is better than quantity. And you must keep that in mind when it comes to studying and retaining the information. It's better to retain the information than to just read it all in one sitting. Number 4, plan what you are going to study. You need to know that at this time you are going to read this to this page and what pages you need to read. In my schedule, I literally have my Google Calendar as a planner. So for each class I have the assignments listed, and I know that when I go into that, this is what I'm going to study. Not only do I have that, but I even kind of dedicate certain days to different types of study for each class. So on Monday is my reading for all my different classes. Now you don't have to follow the same exact pattern as I do, but I don't have to sit there and think, okay, it's Tuesday. What am I going to do on Tuesday? Okay, I feel like doing this. And that's a problem. You don't want to go just based on what you feel, because you're going to have a tendency to do whatever you're passionate about. For me, if I did what I felt like, I would have finished my whole student ministry textbook by now. But that's not going to help me throughout this class because, well, I have a lot of other classes to worry about, not just student ministry. So I need to plan out not just the time, not just the in-person classes as we just talked about, but when you finally get yourself seated down, what are you going to do? You need to plan that through. You also need a backup plan. For me right now, I don't have my second student ministry textbook that I need, so I had to come up with a quick backup plan. For me, it's okay. I think I can read ahead and still retain that information, and then I can go back and read the other textbook that I'm missing. That's my backup plan, and you need to have that too. I also suggest dedicating certain days to different types of work. You can do it 2 ways. Either dedicate one day to do one specific subject, which I personally don't recommend that, and it personally doesn't work for me. Because for me, if I just did one class for the entire day and never did it again until the next week, 2 problems I run in. One is the form. Many online classes have form where you need to constantly check in. And number 2, doing all my classes each day for at least 30 minutes each day helps refresh that memory from the day before. So on Monday, I'm reading it. On Tuesday, I'm listening to the lectures, so, repeating what I read. And then Wednesday and Thursday, I'm working on the assignments that I've already been taught, now performing, now interacting with that material. And Friday, I am working on either reviewing my notes for the quizzes or just reviewing my notes because I need to do that, and working on my long-term research projects. Those are the things I have divided. But say my lecture isn't up, well, okay. Well, I can start working on my assignments a little bit if it isn't hinged on the lecture. And so those are the things you need to think about to come up with and have a plan, so you aren't wasting 10 minutes of your time thinking, what am I going to be doing during this study time? I know that I'm going to be doing preparing for preparatory sermons, but I don't know what I'm going to do. That's why you need to have a plan, so you aren't wasting that study period thinking about what am I going to study. Tip number 5 is set a place for you to study. You need to have a place where there's no distractions, and just set aside a nice little nook area that you can study, that you have all your materials right there set before you, and you don't have to deal with distractions of other people. Also, it's nice to just let other people know that you're studying. A lot of times, people who do online classes, it's hard for the rest of the family whatever you are to get adjusted to that, because they're used to you always being in contact, especially if you're at home. So it's just letting them know, just a reminder, hey, I'm studying, I'm working on schoolwork, That way they know, and that way they won't disturb you and you won't be disturbed by them. And it also puts in your mind that this is studying time. Another tip that I have is just sharing the information that you have learned. Whether it's at the dinner table, just saying, hey, this is what I learned. A lot of times I like sharing the information I learned from my college classes because number one, I'm passionate about it. And number two, it helps cement it. It's another way to help cement it in your brain of what you have been learning through your college classes. One thing that was really frustrating as a freshman last year is not seeing the bigger picture, not understanding the goal in mind of why I'm taking college classes in the first place. Now that I am a sophomore, I have that long-term mentality of seeing, okay, this is where I am, this is where I believe God is calling me to be, and I believe these college classes are helping me get there. I think that brings a little bit more passion into your college classes or whatever classes you are of how is that going to get you from point A to point B, and seeing that goal in the long-term run. That will help you immensely to have that mentality to keep on learning so you can get to that point where you believe God is calling you to be. Okay, tip number 8 is be your own boss. What I mean by that is you're not going to have necessarily people who are going to say, especially if you're on online classes, you're not going to have classmates say, oh, did you get this done? Or did you get that done? Your people in your house may not know what needs to be done. That's why you need to be your own boss. I constantly am looking at my syllabus, constantly logging in online, seeing to make sure that I did not miss an assignment. And I'm looking at my Google Calendar, seeing that I have done everything that I listed that I need to do, even if it's not in the syllabus. Maybe it's a question I have for a professor. I write that down saying that I need to go email my professor about that. So you need to be your own boss in that case. You need to be your own accountability person, which is really hard to do. But once you master that skill, that's going to help you in the long term, not just for online classes, but for your lifetime. Number 9 is to be flexible. Not everything is going to be able to work out how you want it to be. So that's why you need to be flexible. That's something that I'm probably am the weakest at, is just being flexible. It stressed me a lot to not have my ministry textbook, but I came up with a plan B. And that's what you need to be able to do, is be flexible. As much as you plan, you need to be flexible. And you need to realize there's going to be trials and errors as you start your journey doing online classes. It took me a long time to perfect what I have now. And I'm still perfecting it. So you need to be flexible and you need to be gracious with yourself. But at the same time, you need to be your own boss and be accountability and take the responsibility for when you do fall short. Okay, last but not certainly least, you need to see how far you've come, okay? You need to see what has been working for you that has gotten you this far and what slowed you down to get here. And erase all those things that slowed you down and keep going on things that sped you up, that kept you going strong. That's why you need to look over and see how far you've come. I look over and see how far I've come in my homeschooling and now online classes that I take, and how much I have learned from that. I think one thing that online classes really does for a person is really helps teach that person who they are themselves and how they learn and how they work and what they need to do to be successful. So look at how far you've come and don't give up. Thank you so much for watching this video of the top 10 tips on how to survive online classes. I really hope this video helps you all for this semester and for the semesters to come. And if you have any tips on how to survive online classes, please comment that in the description box below. Again, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click that bell button for notification, give a thumbs up, because a thumb down is just puts a sad face. So, again, can't wait to see you guys again, and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have any suggestions for any videos, or any suggestions on just how to survive online classes. And I'll see you guys again. God bless you. Bye.